Hey everybody, Barry Greene here for a free minor 2/5 lesson. So in a few minutes, I'm just kind of going to go over my method for looking at minor 2/5s, and some of this I uncovered by studying some of Pat Martino's thoughts on this, but have kind of put my own little stamp on it as well. So I'm going to show you that right now. So just quickly, when I was younger and practicing, meaning I was doing a lot of transcribing and extracting lines and things from recordings, and where my main focus was certainly listening to the masters and just thinking of them as mentors. I used to have a practice routine where I would practice my major 2/5s, and then I'd have another session where I'd work on my minor 2/5s, and maybe I'd be working on cycle of dominant patterns or whatever it may be. But I definitely put a distinction on the major 2/5 and minor 2/5 when I eventually would realize it was unnecessary. And really this simple little concept here, when I say this, I'm from the bottom of my heart, it really was a musically life-changing event. There's just no doubt about it. So it's basically this. Forgive me, I have to just clean these glasses. So if I take a look at a traditional minor 2/5 progression, let's just say we're using D minor 7 flat 5 to G7, which will most likely have alterations. When dominant chords are resolving to minor, they generally sound very good going to the minor chord with some altered extensions, because those notes, for instance, B flat on a G7 chord, E flat on the G7 chord, are all diatonic to the resolution of C minor. So they tend to sound really great. All right, so there's my 2/5 in C minor. So if you look at the D minor 7 flat 5 chord, if I remove the 6th, or if I remove the D, I should say, I already kind of gave this away, you're left in an F minor triad. And with the addition of the D, that allows me to look at this more as an F minor 6 chord. And if I were thinking about F minor 6 or F minor 7 for that matter, they're all part of the same scale choice. And I'm going to say scale choices, but right now, I'll just say scale choice, which would most likely be F Dorian, if I were playing F minor 6, for instance. So rather than me thinking about a whole other series of linear material that I might be working on, I can now resort back to what I already knew very, very well, which is the 2/5 in major, just thinking of the minor stuff that I would normally use. So in other words, D minor 7 flat 5, I just think of F minor, which is a minor third away from the root of the chord, which is a great way to remember this. So F minor, it sounds amazing over D minor 7 flat 5. I also began to notice that if I take, and I got this from Joe Pass. I'm just a thief, that's all there is to it. So you would hear Joe Pass do this all the time for minor 2/5. So he's taking the exact same form. Yeah, that's a good example. Here's another. The point being that it's the same shape. So what's a D minor, or what's a minor 2/5 or a minor 7 flat 5 chord in root position, when you move it up a minor third, it becomes the altered dominant, that 5, with the 7th in the bass. This is a G7 chord. Here's F, the 7th, B, the 3rd, E flat, flat 13, A flat, flat 9. So the chords are identical, minor 7 flat 5, dominant 7 flat 9 flat 13. The shapes are identical. So that got me thinking, well, if I could play F minor here, can I play A flat minor here? Because if this is F minor, and the relationship is a minor third, so A flat minor. So that sounds incredible. Now I'm going to make this a little bit more specific in a moment, but that's the overall premise, which is to say that on a minor 2/5, you can play minor a minor third away, and then all you need to do is think a minor third higher, and you're going to be dealing with the dominant. chord. Now, the great thing about this works linearly, as I just demonstrated, but it also works in a chordal situation. So if I had, let's see, like another voicing for D minor 7 flat 5, like for instance, these groupings of notes, or this grouping of notes, D, A flat, C, and G, D, A flat, C, and G. So out of that D minor 7 flat 5 chord, I can make this, which is A flat major 7 sharp 11. But it's the same as this, same exact tones. But if everything I just mentioned holds true, I should be able to do this. And it does work, and it sounds great. So A flat major 7 sharp 11 to B major 7 sharp 11 to C minor. It's the exact same thing as this. Okay, so whatever voicing you're holding in your hand for a minor 7 flat 5 chord, you can move up a minor third. So I don't want you to limit this to just linear, although that's what I'm going to be talking about mostly. Another voicing I love to use for D minor 7 flat 5, because it is an F minor 6 chord, is an F minor triad. And I just change the F to the 9th. I get that voicing. So F minor 7 flat, or D minor 7 flat 5. Up a minor third, G altered. And then I move the chord up a major third, and I get my C minor. So that's a really kind of a cool sequence to remember that. Start with the minor 7 flat 5, move up a minor third, move up a major third, and you'll get the full minor 2-5 chord progression using one shape. And of course, the linear stuff follows that. So if I were playing something so simple, like again, I'm thinking of F minor here for my lines. You know what? I won't even put any chromaticism, just straight up F minor. Right? For the C minor. So just taking that same shape and just moving it up. And if, you know, obviously that sounds very repetitive and almost a little predictable, but if I took, in other words, I'm trying to just reorganize the notes and maybe change them rhythmically. One of the classic patterns you hear with that sound is this. It's perfectly F minor, D minor 7 flat 5. Or resolving it like I said before. So you can play the entire minor 2-5 using either one chord shape, one linear shape, and it's as easy as that. And along that same thing, sometimes you'll run into tunes that have a minor 2-5, but go to major. And a great example of that is, what is this thing called Love, where it's, so that's a traditional minor 2-5, but where the minor 2-5 goes to a major chord. In those circumstances, it's so much fun because I can play, let's say I took my D minor 7 flat 5 like this and changed the shape to this. Again, same exact notes. Move it up a minor third for the altered dominant, G7 altered, and to go to C major, so a half step. So for minor 2-5s, major third when you end it. On major resolutions, half step. All right. And that is really it. So, you know, again, once you have recognized the fact that the minor third relationship between the minor 7 flat 5 and the altered dominant is there, you can really exploit that as much as you want. Now, I will say this is a very brief lesson, and I'm going to include a PDF, but I want to mention here that on the site, the Barry Greene Video Lessons site, I do have a full-blown lesson on minor 2-5s, where of course I discuss this, but get into it much, much deeper and also provide I forget, you know, the PDFs are very substantial, maybe 8, 10, 12 pages of PDF material. And the entire site right now has got over 1,000 pages of PDF stuff on it. So I encourage you to check out Barry Greene Video Lessons. I'll put a link in the bottom of this video so you can do just that. You can also try the site out for free for 7 days, no commitment. You can cancel even in the middle of the 7-day trial and you'll still keep your time. You can subscribe monthly or yearly. The yearly subscription is by far, in my opinion, the best deal. Or you can just buy and or rent the lessons too. So there's a lot of options for you out there, and I really, again, encourage you to check it out. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson on the minor 2-5, and I hope to see you at Barry Greene Video Lessons. Thanks a lot.